Zohran Mamdani did it. He won the New York City Democratic primary for mayor in an absolutely stunning upset over former Governor Andrew Cuomo, who has all the funding of the Democratic establishment, all the name recognition that you could possibly have in the state of New York and in the city of New York City. And Mamdani did it by actually fighting for progressive ideals that are very, very popular with the American people and much more popular than the centrist status quo approach that a huge swath of the Democratic Party has absolutely no problem lining up behind. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to show you guys a video here from CNN that shows Harry Enton kind of explaining why he thinks that Mamdani was able to ultimately get over the edge against Andrew Cuomo. And first we'll look at the results of the election, and then I'll show you guys that clip. And he absolutely nails it, why Mamdani had the success that he did. And it kind of goes hand in hand with things that we've seen in polling in terms of how the Democratic base is feeling about their leadership in the Democratic Party at large in this day and age. But before we look at all that, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out the algorithm a lot. So we'll head over here to the New York Times. What better election aggregate to look at than the New York Times for New York City's election, I figured. This thing wasn't even really close, guys. We got Zohran Mamdani with 43.5% of the vote against Andrew Cuomo's 36.4%. Wow. Almost doing some quick math here. It looks like 70,000 votes and change more that Mamdani got. And you know, this is an absolutely stunning result. I've been watching some different coverage and reactions. I was watching Al Sharpton on MSNBC, who I'm not really sure why Al Sharpton his opinion really matters on anything nowadays. But Al Sharpton looked like he was going to cry. He quite literally looked like he was going to break down in tears at this result. Because let's face it, guys, a lot of people in the mainstream media, they would much rather have the status quo rather than have a aggressive, progressive agenda that Mamdani campaigned on. Things like lowering the costs of living and raising taxes on the rich to pay for social services for the people who need it the most in this country and in the city of New York City. He ran on that, and it turns out it was a very successful strategy that Mamdani had, and it was due to these numbers that I'm about to show you here from CNN's Harry Enton, who, by the way, is pretty much carrying CNN in terms of their best political analysis that they have to offer us nowadays. A lot of it seems to be coming from Harry Enton, a younger man than anyone else I've ever seen on the network, quite frankly. Let's watch this together here, guys. This analysis from Harry Enton.
I am not a New Yorker. I live in Miami, where we don't have 50% tax rate.
Like I've already
we have our share of insane elections and insane politicians. But this reminded me, you talked about the Dinkins election. To me, this reminded me of the AOC versus Joe Crowley election, where there was this establishment sacred cow who thought that because of his name and because of his pockets, he could walk into it. And there was a young upstart who put a lot of leather and a lot of footwork and boots on the ground and did it. And so, I would say when it comes to New York, do not underestimate the sweat of these folks. And by the way,
he won. I'm not underestimating.
I would just say this.
And I would not have voted for him.
If you were saying that Eric Adams is the person who's loves this result the second most compared to after Mamdani.
He'll be the anti-Mamdani.
But I will say this. The people who hate this result the most are the Democratic establishment. We have seen poll after poll after poll showing Democratic voters fed up with their leaders in Washington, fed up with their leaders in government. And all of a sudden, Andrew Cuomo, who 5 years ago was leading those COVID, press conferences, was this guy who was held up in such high esteem. And now all of a sudden, the best he can do is what, 37%?
62% of Democrats.
That's what I want to show you guys here. 62% of Democrats saying that their party leaders should be replaced. Wow. Turns out that voters really do want fresh new blood with fresh ideas and are not satisfied with the status quo whatsoever. And the reaction here I'm about to show you from Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, it could not be more in line and more on brand with the Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries brand, which is let's sit on our hands and let Donald Trump destroy the country while we offer very sternly worded platitudes at the president's administration in an attempt to get our democracy back on rails, an approach that is wholly ineffective and people are not happy with whatsoever. It's because of stuff like this, right? Senate minority, excuse me, not majority, I wish. Senate minority leader Chuck Schumer reacted to Mamdani's apparent win in the Democratic Party primary for mayor of New York City on Tuesday night with a very lukewarm acknowledgement. Schumer, the top-ranking Democrat in the U.S. Senate, wrote on X, "I have known Zohran Mamdani since we worked together to provide debt relief for thousands of beleaguered taxi drivers and fought to stop a fracked gas plant in Astoria." I'm not sure what he's talking about there in either case, but he says, he ran an impressive campaign that connected with New Yorkers about affordability, fairness, and opportunity. I spoke with Zohran Mamdani this morning and am looking forward to getting together soon. That's it. That's it. No kind of realization or no acknowledgement of the state that we are in currently in this country with Donald Trump's fascist administration just overstepping the Constitution on a daily basis, overstepping people's right to due process, and just the list goes on and on and on of things that Donald Trump does that are fascist. And you have this guy who absolutely, in an absolutely shocking fashion, is able to beat a establishment Democrat. And Schumer says he ran a good campaign. I look forward to seeing him soon. Like, it just couldn't be any more deflating of a non-endorsement. It couldn't be any more just spineless and feckless. And Schumer's response here shows exactly why 62% of Americans are fed up with Democratic leadership. Now let's look at Hakeem Jeffries' response. Hakeem Jeffries a little bit more a little bit more full of jubilation at this result. Congratulations to Zohran Mamdani on a decisive primary victory. Assemblyman Mamdani ran a strong campaign that relentlessly focused on the economy and bringing down the high cost of living in New York City. We spoke this morning and plan to meet in central Brooklyn shortly. I mean, and then you have a House Democrat here representing parts of Long Island. Representative Laura Gillen slammed Mamdani, who is a Democratic socialist, as too extreme to lead the city. Socialist Zohran Mamdani is too extreme to lead New York City. His entire campaign has been built on unachievable promises and higher taxes, which is the last thing New York needs, Gillen wrote. I mean, Yeah, let's attack the guy breathing life and breathing energy into Democratic leadership at a time when voters across the country are just clamoring for any sort of new leadership that they can get their hands on. And lo and behold, when they are able to elect a guy like this, they go right ahead and do it. This to me is heartening. This could be a major bellwether of where our country is headed, where the Democratic Party is headed. And if we are to ultimately have a blue wave in this country, it is going to be because of politicians like Zohran Mamdani, not because of people like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who could not have offered a possibly more muted, unenthusiastic response to this crazy result that we saw in the New York primary here. And I want to show you guys Curtis Sliwa. He won the Republican primary, so that's who Mamdani is going to go against. He ran for mayor in 2021 and lost to Eric Adams, and he ran unopposed. So, in a perfect world, you would have the Democratic leadership doing this whole compare and contrast of somebody like Curtis Sliwa's Republican policies and where the Republican policies have taken our country and taken the city of New York City, and contrasts it with the absolutely exciting policy that Mamdani is offering and going, we're going to go with this because this is the direction that the country needs to go in. And it's for these reasons laid out, boom, boom, boom. No, we don't get that from Chuck Schumer. We just don't get it. Chuck Schumer is a status quo politician. I hate to say that because Schumer is probably like one of the top Democrats in the country at this time, but really him being one of the top Democrats again is why people are looking at the leadership and going, we need new fresh blood. So congratulations to Zohran Mamdani here for this astounding result in the New York City Democratic primary for mayor. And we can only cross our fingers that people across the country are looking at this result and it's emboldening them to run for office based on their progressive ideals, and emboldening voters that, yeah, we can in fact have progressive candidates be our leaders if we are to go out and do the hard work of volunteering for them and putting our money where our mouth is and donating to them whenever we can. And most importantly, on the day that counts, on election day, going out and voting for politicians that represent our ideals as the American people, not the Democratic establishment status quo people who are oh so scared to stand up to Donald Trump on very many different cases. And yeah, this is a great result, and congratulations to Mamdani. That's all I got for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, and share with someone that's into politics. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Take care.